in 2019, I bought a share of Bear stock. And not because I thought it was going to be a good investment, that is for sure, but because I wanted to have a front row seat for the day that investors sued Bear for all of the losses in their investments. And that day has come because last week I got this postcard in the mail announcing a securities class action lawsuit, which I will be able to partake in. And it's fabulous because they are suing Bayer for not doing due diligence and carefully looking at the acquisition of Monsanto and all of the ridiculous liability that went along with that acquisition with glyphosate and Roundup, as well as all the other atrocities that Monsanto has committed. So that is so exciting. It could not come at a better time because I'm super mad at Bayer right now because they are talking about releasing these soil microbes that are genetically modified, which would completely potentially damage our ability to grow food in the future. And I'm going to do a follow-up reel on that one, but I am super annoyed at them. But this is great news because if we can just push Bayer even further along towards bankruptcy, that is a win for all humanity.
Wow. Kelly Ryerson realized that the root cause of her major health issues was from gluten, and soon learned that our grains are often sprayed pre-harvest with Roundup. After healing herself, she went on to blog the Monsanto Roundup trials as Glyphosate Girl, reporting on the outrageous transgressions of Monsanto and the EPA in keeping glyphosate on the market. Today, she is featured in the documentary Common Ground, is an ambassador to the Rodale Institute, and works alongside farmers, activists, moms, government, and NGOs to clean our food system of toxins. Way to go, woman, for helping us stay alive. Tina Griffin here, and welcome to another episode of the Counterculture Mom Show as we are nearing 600 episodes, people. Our mission is to expose the lies of the enemy and blast the truth to the masses. Thank you for tuning in as we uncover the dirt on our contaminated soil and what we can do to feed our bodies healthy food. It's all about GMO dangers this week, and to help us stay alive, I'm with Kelly Ryerson, founder of Glyphosate Facts. Kelly, you got me all fired up, sister. We didn't even start yet.
Oh my gosh. Just seeing and hearing you talk about GMOs and glyphosate gets me going.
Oh my gosh. So, as a mom of a bunch of kids yourself, how did you get involved with glyphosate? I mean, most people are thinking about like getting their nails done or going to the grocery store, and you're like, glyphosate, man, let's fight this battle. Tell us your story about your health journey.
Okay, I would love to. I certainly never in a million years imagined that my life would be dedicated to trying to get rid of glyphosate. Didn't even know what it was. But I was, I'd had my babies and I just never felt great afterwards. And the years passed and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just tired because I'm a busy mom. Like the doctor said, oh, that's how all new moms felt. But I was having like a lot of different things. Like I was having rashes and just exhaustion and tingling in my hands and little hair loss, and just a lot of things were adding up. And so I was constantly in my doctor's office saying, I feel like something's wrong. The answer, of course, was you're likely crazy and you just need some antidepressants.
Oh, yeah, more drugs.
More drugs. And so by the end of seeing about 20 different specialists about all these problems that were happening, I was on 2 antidepressants, benzodiazepine, a steroid, gabapentin. I just was on all these drugs that were making me even sicker. And I finally said, well, you know what? Maybe I am crazy because I'm not getting better. I'm getting worse. I went and saw a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist happened to have intake blood work that had vitamin panel on it. And so I did that panel. It came back that I was deficient across the board in these key minerals and nutrients. And I was like, God, this must have something to do with it. Of course, my doctors who only know drugs said, no, vitamins don't actually really matter. That's an overstated thing. If you're eating okay, and so I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is a big deal. And so I went to a new doctor. She said, I think you should try giving up gluten because a lot of, interestingly, female patients about your age are starting to have a lot of intolerance to it. I'm like, okay. So I tried that, started supplementing vitamins, really rapidly started getting better after years of feeling terrible. So I went to a conference at Columbia University on celiac disease and non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and heard a bunch of doctors and researchers hypothesizing why so many people around the globe, but particularly in the United States now, can't tolerate gluten, and they didn't know. And so I thought, hi, I wonder what, I don't know anything about farming. I went up and I said, well, are they spraying anything on the grain? And no one knew. But then one of the lead scientists from General Mills came over to me and found me after and pulled me into a corner and he said, yeah, so Roundup is sprayed pretty regularly on the grains. And I was like, the weed killer Roundup, like from Home Depot?
Yes.
And yes, that's the one. And I said, well, that has to stop. No wonder why we're all sick. Like, that cannot be good. And he said, well, that farming practice change will take about 2 decades. So,
Yes.
that's just how it is. So I was like, oh my gosh. I learned that glyphosate is the active ingredient in this. I learned that there are thousands of pieces of peer-reviewed edited research that show how damaging this is across the board to all these symptoms in our bodies. We all are urinating it out. It's in our tissues, it's in our hair, it's everywhere. And no one even knows that we're being poisoned every single day by this chemical. So at that time, the Roundup cancer trials were beginning in San Francisco, which is close to where I live. And
Mm.
I thought, oh, this is the first time Monsanto has ever been brought in front of a jury ever, which so was very monumental and amazing. So went up there, walked through the front door of the courthouse to no one's really there. There's like one person from the media and sat down with the lawyers and like, this is a really huge deal. And they're like, yeah, but the message is being so muted that it's not going to really make mainstream that this trial is happening. So I quit my job at the time and I decided I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to blog every single day, every single detail that comes out as we investigate just how corrupt the EPA is, how Monsanto has gotten away with this poisoning and protected this chemical so that it's the most widely used herbicide in the history of the planet, still the most widely used, and is a carcinogen among many other things. And so now that's what I work on.
You are something else. And you said San Fran, and I literally told my husband about a week ago, I just met a phenomenal woman that I did reporting with for Overcomers TV at the National Religious Broadcasters event. And I told her I want to come visit you, and she lives near you. So I'm saying this right now.
Oh,
We've got to
hey,
partner
you're
up.
coming. That would be
I
the best.
Yes, I love heroes. You are a hero. You're standing up, taking charge, trying to save America for the sake of our kids was something really, really important. And I grew up in a dairy farm in Wisconsin. It drove me crazy that I would see my dad spraying this junk on the crops. I knew back then as even a teenager, I'm like, Dad, on the side of the bottle, it says, keep out of reach of children, and that's going on the crops and we're eating it. And he didn't know of any other options. It drove him nuts as well. But this is going back, 3 decades. But we saw the corruption already, and my dad felt like he was pigeonholed. Kelly, people can tell already. I know that people are already in love with you and what you do. You speak and write on toxicity of our food supply, and you provide scientific research to all those interested in the horrific effects of glyphosate on fertility, digestion, mental health, autoimmunity. Wow. Get us sick, we go into the hospital, get drugs, get sicker, get cancer, die. I mean, it's just insane, the cycle. Can you break down for us what is glyphosate?
Yeah, so glyphosate is a weed killer that was originally developed in the 1950s for use as a potential pharmaceutical. The scientists couldn't find a use for it as a pharmaceutical, and so it became a boiler cleaner and like a metal pipe cleaner because of its ability to bind so tightly to minerals. And so think about that, by the way, because that comes back in a few minutes. So that's what its original use was. Then Monsanto realized, oh, this is a really effective weed killer. Fantastic. We're going to put this together with this soapy substance surfactant called POEA, make the Roundup product. By the way, that soapy substance is in some cases considered to be equally toxic to glyphosate, so much so that Europe has banned that POEA, and they get a different version of Roundup than we get in the United States. We get the super toxic one.
Of
They get
course.
the best. Yeah.
Uh,
So they put that out. It becomes really very popular. And then they realize, okay, we want to be able to continue selling this when Roundup and when glyphosate becomes generic and they no longer have that ability to sell it at a premium. So they developed GMOs GMO seeds that are resistant to the effects of Roundup. So farmers can buy as much Roundup as they want, spray it on top of the crops, and the crops won't die. So it's actually a really brilliant plan if you think that that chemical is not going to cause health harm, which of course by then Monsanto had gotten in so deeply with the EPA that the EPA at one point had said, this looks like it's a carcinogen. Amazingly, through a little bit of extra work on the part of Monsanto, they reversed that opinion and said, oh no, it's not a carcinogen, which they still say to this day that it's not a carcinogen.
Who's getting paid? Who's getting paid here, people? Who's getting paid? We smell a rat.
Oh my gosh. To the point that in 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer came out and said, this is a probable human carcinogen. Well, then the EPA knew that they were going to have to respond to the fact that the International Agency for Research on Cancer, called IARC, said that. So they said, we're going to open this up and bring in a lot of scientists and advisors to come in and talk to us about or assess the research again, because this is concerning. So they had these scientists come in. One of them is my friend over at Berkeley, and she's a just preeminent toxicologist. She looked through the research in 2016 and said, this causes cancer. She reported that to the EPA. The EPA report came out and said, it doesn't cause cancer. So she came back and she published with her other peers that advised the EPA. They published the paper with the results of what they had assessed, that it causes non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or is highly linked to it. So this happens, and so it becomes very quickly just saturated throughout our entire country and actually around the globe. It's sprayed so much on these GMO seeds, and now we have it in the rain, we have it in our water, we have it, really you can't even avoid it. It's used for aerial spray in national parks. I've seen these wild pictures where when they're aquatic weeds, you'll see someone just standing with a sprayer, like in the Galapagos Islands, just spraying randomly into the water. I mean, and it kills sea life. It kills us all. That's what is so wild is that when the EPA continually says that there is no evidence of human health harm from this chemical, it is such a lie, and it makes me enraged. I've been now with the organization Moms Across America. We put together a bunch of people, so some doctors and scientists and farmers, and went to the EPA twice, to the FDA and to the USDA with research, absolutely rock solid research. And it's just been, the USDA said, we can't regulate anything really but sugar and salt. The FDA said, oh, well, thanks for testing that stuff. I see there's glyphosate in it. Nothing we can do. The EPA said, every research piece that you are showing us here is anecdotal. It's not actionable.
I gotta let my anxiety go down. We're gonna go to a short commercial break. We're gonna I'm like, yeah, where are they? When we come back, we're gonna talk to Kelly more about what we can do to solve this corruption right after this.
Here are 7 signs you may have a parasite. My biggest issue, because I did have parasites, was teeth grinding, skin irritation, and unexplained digestive issues. The other indication that you could have a parasite is eating after 7 p.m. and craving sugar. My name is Kim. I'm the worm queen and the inventor of the Parafy Kit. Let's go over it. Parafy, it's your parasite cleanse. Sustain, it's your candida and your bad bacteria cleanse. Metal Flush, it's your heavy metal detox. Cinnabon, it's your binder. You take Parafy and Metal Flush 3 times a day and Sustain 2 times a day. You can take them all together. The kit comes with instructions. Cinnabon is your binder and you take that at night. We have a nut-free option. We ship worldwide. The Parafy Kit is for ages 3 and up. Use Tina as your 10% discount code. Find it on rogersfood.com.
The Jace case is a pack of 5 antibiotics. We put these antibiotics together very purposefully. They were curated in a way that covers the most common as well as the most deadly bacterial infections that you might encounter. In addition, it includes a guidebook to the safe use of the medications that is written in a way that's accessible for most people to be able to look up what their symptoms are and what the proper medication is to take. The idea behind the Jace case is to allow everyone to be better prepared medically, to be empowered to care for themselves.
Since the pandemic began, our healthcare industry has had to transform. From receiving medication to physician visits, everything changed. Jace Medical is dedicated to providing proper access to medications before you need them. This protects against issues during travel or disruptions with supply chains, natural disasters, and other emergency situations that have proven to overwhelm our healthcare system. Secure your own supply of medication with ease and peace of mind.
Use code TINA for a discount at jacemedical.com.
What I'm about to tell you is a matter of life and death. If the soil dies, we die.
The facts have been proven. Roundup does cause cancer.
If you burrow deeply enough, there is a pipeline of money from the pesticide industry into those universities. They're getting the kind of science that money can buy.
Nature is the mother of us all. And if mama ain't happy, we're f***.
But there's a way to save our precious soils. It's called regeneration.
Regeneration is not just restoring the land to the state that we found it at, but actually making it better.
We have added over 96 tons of carbon per acre into our soil. Can we mitigate climate change? Absolutely.
We're going to check the underwear in the regenerative versus the conventional soybean field and see if we can tell a difference between the microbial activity.
We've eliminated insecticides, pesticides, herbicides. We are saving upwards of $400 an acre. It works out to be about $2 million a year in savings. That is serious cash.
I forgot my suit. I feel like I'm underdressed. But if you are the people who can make a change, well, it's high time to finally get regenerative agriculture. Let's prioritize the farmer.
Out here in the fields, I found for my meals.
It's a connection to the land. It's a connection to those that came before us and those that are going to come after us.
Sally, take my hand.
We can change everything. There's hope.
I said this letter is a warning, but it's also a promise.
So I'm gonna fight like hell to save your future, my children.
Everybody's concerned. We don't know who to trust. Well, we know who to trust. None of these people. But we might not know how we can avoid glyphosate. What are your answers to that?
So the number one thing you can do for diet, and this is hard for a lot of people if you don't have access, but eating organic food is, of course, first and foremost, because anything that's organic is not allowed to be sprayed with synthetic chemicals, including glyphosate. So that is going to be your first and foremost way to detox your body from glyphosate exposure. Another thing that I am really keen on is to make sure you take off your shoes before you come in the house, because it's sprayed all over sidewalks and it doesn't go away until it's washed away. And if you have pets, that's a really big concern. Like my dog walking route is actually taking my pets away from places I've seen being sprayed, because just like these different plaintiffs in the trial, and there are actually a lot of animal studies backing it up, that it goes and cuts right on up through the little paws and goes into the bloodstream. So now you have a situation where it's over 50% of dogs will get cancer in a lifetime, and similar for cats, and Roundup can be a big contributor to that.
You don't want to know what was just in my brain. I won't say it out loud, but this is just absolutely disgusting. These people, these evil, evil people that want to own the globe and kill off all humanity, they really want to destroy the human genome. And the more I learn about that, blows my mind. We're going to have end time prophecy coming up again because we can't talk enough about it. I'll just say that. Genesis 6, we have to research that. Satan's on an all-out attack to destroy the human genome. That's what this is all about. Blows my mind. Add in transhumanism, AI technology, nanobot, Yes, people, it all comes together in the end. Jesus warned us about this business. Unreal. Okay, so those are great tips. It makes me want to protect my dog Mikey even more. We love our little pet. The kids love the dog.
And you know, and another thing, if anyone is pregnant or trying to get pregnant, be very well aware of glyphosate's impact on hormones. Really, it can prevent implantation just by your dietary exposure. Like there are a lot of people that fight and fight to try and become pregnant. They can't, they don't know why. That can sometimes be a problem. It also crosses the blood-testes barrier and kills sperm. So you see the crash in fertility. That is something that glyphosate does. It can decrease the testosterone in the male pups if you've had it while you're pregnant. It can expand the distance between the anus and the vagina in your female babies if your glyphosate levels are high during pregnancy. So this is just a time to be absolutely certain that you're avoiding glyphosate to the best of your ability.
When we come back, we're going to learn more about what regenerative farming is and how it can get us out of this poisonous mess. Stay tuned.
We have 4 principles. First Amendment, Second Amendment, right to life, military and first responders.
My name's Scott, I'm with Patriot Mobile. What is going on with all the woke companies in this country? It seems like everybody has completely lost their minds, right? No more. This is called voting with our dollars. We need to start prioritizing our beliefs and our values over convenience and comfort. And this is why companies like Patriot Mobile are so important right now.
If you have a place to go put your money, you always want to put it with somebody that's like-minded.
Of course.
I think that's the beauty of Patriot Mobile. We're a conservative alternative.
My pronouns are Bible believer, gun carrier, and mama bear. We are the nation's only Christian conservative wireless provider.
Switch today at patriotmobile.com. For free activation, use promo code TINA.
Have you ever wanted to start a charity or ministry? Launching a nonprofit can be time-consuming, expensive, and overwhelming. If you have a vision and mission, but don't know where to start or how to raise donations, Capstone Legacy Foundation is your solution. Their ministry charity project allows you to receive tax-free donations without the expense and hassle of forming your own 501c3, and in less than 48 hours. This ministry partnership fund is exactly how Counterculture Ministries got its start, and we grew quickly. Capstone Legacy Foundation handles all your legal and accounting paperwork, allowing you time to develop the ministry and message God gave you. Call Capstone today at 610-688-8890 or check out capstonelegacy.org for more information. And tell them Tina sent you. Partner with Capstone Legacy Foundation to transform our culture for Christ and get your nonprofit started today.
If you're tuning into this episode, I know you're concerned about your family's health and what you're putting into your bodies. Therefore, you've got to check out this clean meat option. It's called Nose to Tail Meats. They sell grass-finished and regeneratively raised animal products for people looking to bolster regenerative agriculture and nourish their bodies at the same time. Local ranchers, healthy animals, high-quality products. That's what you find with Nose to Tail Meats. Their meat is raised on small farms in the hearts of Texas and shipped right to your front door. Nose2tail.org, everybody. Nose2tail.org. Use code TINA for $20 off your first order over $75. Once again, code TINA at checkout, nose2tail.org. Let's stock up on awesome quality meat for our families. Kelly, let's save our kids, sister. Can you explain to us regenerative farming, agriculture? Here's a quick image for everybody. Give us a lowdown on what we're looking at.
Yeah, so we have conventional agriculture, which has been very chemical based since the Industrial Revolution in the mid-1900s. This regenerative agriculture is a way that we can work our way out of it and stop our chemical dependency. And there are 5 different things here that you can see in this chart that you can do. Keeping soil covered, to keep the moisture in, and to keeping cover crops in the soil so that they're pulling nutrients back into the soil and healing it instead of having bare soil where they're unable to retain those nutrients. Integrating livestock is really important. Grazing is very important for the grazing on these cover crops and making that soil even healthier and making that organic matter in the soil healthy and able to grow food. Maximizing crop diversity instead of just having GMO seeds there with the same monocrops, which has destroyed our soil across the whole heartland. Let's get different crops in there, vegetables, all kinds of things. And finally, minimizing soil disturbance is critical, because if you are tilling the soil, you're breaking up the really critical different networks that are the fungal networks and the bacterial networks that actually make our food healthy.
Honor being on the front of the battle lines with you. Absolute honor. Everybody out there, watch all 4 episodes at counterculturemom.com. Like I said, share it with everybody. Counterculturemom.com. Let's get this word out in the street and stop these evil people in their tracks. Kelly, you rock. Keep at it. I'll see you here sooner than later.